भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 16, Text number 26. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Eto Sura Itara Gatim Pratipadya Sadyaha Eto Suretara Gatim Pratipadya Sadyaha Samramba Sambruta Samadhi Anubadda Yogo Samramba Sambruta Samadhi Anubadda Yogo Bhuyaha Sakasam Upayashyataha Asu Yaha Vaha Bhuyah sakasam upayasyata asu yo vaha. Shapaha maya eva nimittaha tad aveta vipraha. Shapo mayeva nimittas tadaveta vipraha. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Eto Suretara Gatim Pratipadya Sadyaha Samramba Sambruta Samadhi Anubadda Yogo Bhuya Sakasam Upayasyata Asu Yovaha Shapo Mayeva Nimitastad Aveta Vipraha. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Eto Suretara Gatim Pratipadya Sadyaha Samramba Sambruta Samadhi Anubadda Yogo Bhuya Sakasam Upayasyata Asu Yovaha Shapo Mayeva Nimitastadaveta Vipraha. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead replied, Eto, these two doorkeepers, Sura Itara, demoniac, Gatim, the womb, Pratipadya, obtaining, Sadhyaha, quickly, Samramba, by anger, Sambruta, intensified, Samadhi, concentration of mind, Anubadda, firmly, Yoga, united with me, Bhuyaha, again, Sakasam, to my presence, Upayasyataha, shall return, Asu, shortly, Yaha, which, Vaha, of you, Shapaha, curse, by me, Eva, alone, Nimitaha, ordained, Tat, that, Aveta, no. Translation and purport by Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. The Lord replied, O Brahmanas, know that the punishment you inflicted on them was originally ordained by me, and therefore they will fall to a birth in a demoniac family. But they will be firmly united with me in thought through mental concentration intensified by anger, and they will return to my presence shortly. Please repeat the translation. The Lord replied, O Brahmanas, know that the punishment you have inflicted on them was originally ordained by me, and therefore they will fall to a birth in a demoniac family. But they will be firmly united with me in thought through mental concentration, intensified by anger, and they will return to my presence shortly. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Lord stated that the punishment inflicted by the sages upon the doorkeepers Jaya and Vijaya was conceived by the Lord Himself. Without the Lord's sanction, nothing can happen. It is to be understood that there was a plan in the cursing of Lord's devotees in Vaikuntha, and His plan is explained by many stalwart authorities. The Lord sometimes desires to fight. The fighting spirit also exists in the Supreme Lord, otherwise how could fighting be manifested at all? Because the Lord is the source of everything, anger and fighting are also inherent in His personality. When He desires to fight with someone, He has to find an enemy, but in the Vaikuntha world there is no enemy because everyone is engaged fully in His service. Therefore, He sometimes comes to the material world as an incarnation in order to manifest His fighting spirit. In Bhagavad Gita also it is said that the Lord appears just to give protection to the devotees and to annihilate the non-devotees. Non-devotees are found in the material world, not in the spiritual world. Therefore, when the Lord wants to fight, He has to come to this world. But who will fight with the Supreme Lord? No one is able to fight with Him. Therefore, because the Lord's pastimes in the material world are always performed with His associates, not with others, He has to find some devotee who will play the part of an enemy. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says to Arjuna, my dear Arjuna, both you and I have appeared many, many times in this material world, but you have forgotten, whereas I remember. Thus, Jaya and Vijaya were selected by the Lord to fight with Him in the material world, and that was the reason the sages came to see Him, and accidentally the doorkeepers were cursed. It was the Lord's desire to send them to the material world, and not perpetually, but for some time. Therefore, just as on a theoretical stage, someone takes the part of an enemy to the proprietor of the stage, although the play is for a short time, and there is no permanent enmity between the servant and the proprietor, so the Surajanas were cursed by the sages to go to Asurajana or atheistic families. That a devotee should come into an atheistic family is surprising, but it is simply a show. After finishing their mock fighting, both the devotee and the Lord are again associated in the spiritual planet. That is very explicitly explained here. The conclusion is that no one falls from the spiritual world or Vaikuntha planet, for it is the eternal abode. But sometimes as the Lord desires, devotees come into this material world as preachers or as atheists. In each case, we must understand that there is a plan of the Lord. Lord Buddha, for example, was an incarnation, yet he was God. But actually there was a plan behind this, as explained in the Bhagavatam. Darshan Sri Bhaktivedanta purport. Om ajnanatimirandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshuram militam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shrivasadi Gaurabhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the Lord's response to Kumaras feeling bad that they have cursed innocent people. So Lord is saying, Eto Suretar Gatim Pratipadya Sadhyaha. These two, Eto, the doorkeepers, Jaya Vijaya, Sura Itara Gatim, they will achieve the destination of demoniac families. Sura Itara. Pratipadya Sadhyaha, and they will come back to me very early. Immediately they will come back. They will reach me, come back. Sambramba Sambruta Samadhi Anubadha Yoga. And how is their mood when they accept these demoniac families? They are intensified by anger. And they are simultaneously meditating upon me. Anubadha Yoga. With intensified anger, they will completely meditate upon me. They are united with me. Sambramba Samadhi. Whole of their mind is always thinking of the Lord, but in angry mood. Then, Bhuyaha sakasam upayashyata asuyovaha. And Bhuyaha, very soon, again, sakasam, they will come into my presence. Means once that pastime is done, they'll come back to me. Asiyo vaha, and you don't feel bad that you have cursed these people. Shapo mayeva nimitas sad aveta vipraha. Oh my dear brāhmaṇas, vipraha, please understand that this curse has my approval. This is ordained by me. Because not even a blade of grass moves, and especially in Vaikuntha, it is only the will of the Lord that is prevalent there. So this is my desire that this issue happens. You curse this Jai Vijaya for my specific purpose. And in the purport we have read what is that purpose, the will of the Lord. So if you see the translation, O brāhmaṇas, vipraha, know that the punishment you have inflicted upon them was originally ordained by me. Tad aveta shapo yo vaha mayeva nimitaha. And therefore they will fall to a birth in demoniac family. Eto suretaragatim pratipadya sadhyah. But they are firmly united with me in thought through mental concentration intensified by anger. Samramba sambrutta samadhi anubaddha yoga. And they will return to my presence shortly. Bhuya sakasam upayashyati asu. The whole thing is, this is the will of the Lord. For him to perform one specific pastime, he requires his associates, because Lord does not associate with anybody else. So he comes with his entire entourage. So his associates play the specific roles to give that that rasa to be of fullest category. So in Padma Purana, Lord explains why does he perform these pastimes. He says, Muhurtenapi samhartum shakto yadiyapi danavan. In a moment I can kill all these danavas. I am capable enough. Muhurtenapi samhartum shakto yadi api danavan. Madbhaktana vinodardam karomi vividah kriyaha. But madbhaktana vinodardam, to give enjoyment for my devotees. Karomi vividah kriyaha, I perform various pastimes. Darshana dhyana samsparsher mascha kurma vihangamaha. So, darshana by sight, dhyana by meditation, samsparsher by touch. Mascha kurma vihangamaha. Mascha, fish, they lay their eggs and they say simply keeping an eye on the eggs to sprout. Then kurma, tortoise, it lays eggs somewhere else, it stays in the water and it meditates on that eggs for them to become fructified. Then vihangamaha, how do birds? They sit with the eggs and they make them fructify. Swani apatyani pushnati tataham api padmaja. So this is the instruction to Lord Brahma, Padmaja, oh my dear personality who has taken birth from a lotus. So I do maintain my devotees in this perspective. Lord is saying how? By meditation, by vision and by personal association. How these animals bring their offsprings, I too maintain my devotees by this same process. So what do we understand, or how do we understand the mood of the Lord? He says, Aho Mahaprabho Bhakta Vatsalya Bhara Nirjita Karosi Evam Api Sviya Chitta Akarshaka Cheshtita. Aho Mahaprabho, he is saying, O Master of all Masters, O my dear Lord, Bhakta Vatsalya Bhara Nirjita, you are conquered by your great affection for your devotees. Lord is always bound by his devotees. A devotee's desire, Lord enacts that pastime. Karoshi evam api sviya chitta akarshaka cheshtita. This is how you attract their hearts. So you like when you want to attract somebody else, their attention, what do? You want to grab somebody's attention, what do you do? Huh? Okay, then you can clap. You act in such a way what is interesting to him. You try to perform. If a girl is there, how do you make her turn towards you? So what is her interest? You try to enact. You try to give a gift what she likes. You perform activities which she will be favorable. So the Lord is saying, how I control my devotees' hearts? By acting in such a way how my devotees desire. So that is the nature of the Lord. So Lord Brahma, he says, the Lord, you are fully independent personality. Swechamaya. Is there anything bound by the Lord in this material world? So he performs his pastimes by his internal potency. He comes to this material world by his internal potency. In 4th chapter, 6th sloka, what does it say? Sambhavami Atma Mayaya. I do not come by my external potency. Lord comes out of this into this material world by his internal potency. And everything is performed by his desire. Swa Ichamaya. So he says, Ashyapi Devo Vapuso Mad Anugrahasya Svechamayasya Natutu Bhuta Mayasya Kopai Neshe Mahitu Avasitam Manasantarena Sakshat Tvayeva Kim Utatma Sukhanubhutehe. He is saying, oh my dear Deva, oh my dear Lord, Koapi Asyapi, neither I nor anyone else. Vapusaha Natu Bhuta Mayasya, can estimate the potency of your transcendental body. Because Brahma had offended the Lord by thinking he was just a cowherd boy. He thought he is a simple man, how he is able to do all these pastimes? Brahma became bewildered. A forest boy with a cowherd category, he is a performer of killing of various demons and all. So when he was apprised to Brahma, some of his assistants came and said, the Supreme Lord had appeared in this material world, he's been killing various demons. Brahma became astonished. How is that? When Lord comes here, I am the one who gets to know, but I did not get to know. You are confused. You are thinking of some forest boy or some cowherd boy to be the Supreme Lord. So he wants you to play his Maya. He wanted to check whether Krishna is the Supreme Lord or not. So after doing this analysis, he came here. One day he saw Krishna and boys and all the people are all in the forest. All their cows were all there with their calves. So Brahma played a trick where he tried to capture the calves first. Then the boys became disturbed. They were all eating lunch. Then Krishna said, seeing their situation that the calves were not visible, Krishna said, okay, you don't disturb your eating. You keep continuing. I will go and check. So Krishna, when he went that side, the Brahma lifted off all these boys also. So Krishna was here running here and there, then he could not understand what is happening. The calves are missing, the boys are missing. There suddenly he saw one swan's feather there. Then he could understand it was Brahma who was playing around this trick. Shishi Radha Govindaki. So he immediately wanted to make Brahma realize that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How you will make realize? Brahma should realize his mistake. So Brahma thought he will bewilder Krishna. Krishna thought, let me bewilder Brahma. So that's how, tick for tack, how you will make opposite person humble. Brahma thought he will kidnap the boys and keep them for a moment and come back and see what Krishna is doing. Then Krishna recreated the entire set. Cows, calves, boys, everybody were exact to detail. Krishna expanded himself. And he was playing with the same set of people. Brahma came here and he was confused. He was thinking, what happened? Did I lifted the boys or not? He went back to check again. The boys are sleeping there. He came back here, still they are playing with Krishna. Then he realized at that particular point, it was Krishna who has expanded himself into all these personalities. They are all Vaikuntha Vishnus. Because as they were unlimited Vaikuntha planets, unlimited Vishnus were in the body of Krishna. They have expanded themselves into unlimited forms so that they all can contribute to Krishna's pastimes. Now all these personalities entered into the body of Krishna. Then Brahma became surprised. Then he came forward and paid obeisances and he requested, my dear sir, please forgive me. So this is the context there. So he is saying, Mat Anugrahasya, which he has shown such mercy to me. By your pastime you have enabled me that you are Supreme Personality. I am just an insignificant person. And Swa Ichcha Mayasya, which appears just to fulfill the desires of your pure devotees. Brahma wanted to know how Krishna is Supreme Personality of God. So Krishna showed that he is Supreme Personality of God. Manasantarena, although my mind is completely withdrawn from material affairs, na eshe mahitu avasitam sakshat tavaiva. I cannot understand your personal form. I am trying to guess, but still I could not understand your personal capacity. Then, kim utatma sukhanubhute, how it is possible to understand the happiness you experience within yourself. This is a pastime and it is performed for your happiness. And how can I guess how much happiness you derive in your pastimes? So, a limited personality can never understand the Supreme Lord's capacity. Like for example, here Brahma wanted to create illusion, but he was stuck in the illusion of the Lord. Like for one more circumstances, we see Ramana, he had created an illusion to capture Sita. He created Maya, that dear Maya lady. But actually what happened there? Rama created Maya Sita so that Ravana becomes captured there. Now who became bound in whose logic? So we think we are all doing one thing. We can do manipulations, we can try adjustments, we can do something, but we become bound up in Lord's illusion. So Brahma became bound in Lord's illusion. How it is possible? Brahma is a material personality. And material Maya, can it affect the eternal associates of the Lord? Then what is happening there? What Brahma had captured was the third set of boys who Krishna had created, who are under material energy. The original set is with Krishna only. Because eternal associates can never be under material control. So Krishna, there were three sets of people who were enacting that pastime. Krishna, who had expanded himself. There was the original boys who came from spiritual world, whom have been hidden by Krishna. And the third set was Maya capacity, which were created by Krishna, which Brahma took. So unless we understand these technicalities, how Krishna is so special and how material Maya can never influence spiritual personalities, we will never be able to understand these pastimes. And why Brahma became bewildered? What is the specific reason here? At the starting of Krishna's pastime, and Lord was there in the Vaikuntha world, who approached Lord? Mother Earth, along with Brahma and all the demigods approached the Lord. And they all requested, earth is overburdened. Please help us in reducing the burden of the earth. What was the Lord's instruction at that time? Very soon I will be taking an incarnation in Yadu Vamsha. All the demigods respectively take birth and support me in this pastime. So everybody took birth except two personalities. One was Brahma, one was Indra. Both of them did not follow the instruction of the Lord. Because they have transgressed the instruction of the Lord, they became bound in Lord's illusion. That's why Brahma Vimohan Leela and Govardhan Leela, where both of them became bewildered by the Lord's pastimes. Because they did not follow the instruction of the Lord in taking birth in this material world. So these are the logics. How do we get to know only by because Acharyas present to us the reason behind what is happening here. So here what do we see is an external affair, but internal affair will be something else. Now Lord wants to perform a pastime so that the entire scenario becomes glorified. Now the mood of the devotee, you understand, when he is asked to banish or to go away from the separation of the Lord, what is his mood? So in that perspective, we see in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a personality by name Mukunda Datta, a great singer who was always with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was once scolding Mukunda Datta. He called him like Kadajatiya Vaishnava. Means what? A Vaishnava who is going to every place and associating with every category people. And one day he scolded him that you don't come into my association. So that entire scenario was in a glimpse, it was in one purport explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It was elaborated in Chaitanya Bhagavatam. We will see what happened there. Tatra Mukunda Sabara Priya Parama Mahanta Balamate Jane Se Sabara Vrittanta. So Mukunda was a great devotee and he was dear to everyone. He was very conversant with background of everyone. निरवधि कीर्तन कराए प्रभु सुने, कोन जना ना बुझे तथापि दंडकेन. The Lord would always listen to the chanting, his chanting, and nobody could understand why he was punished. ताकुरेह नाही डाके आसिते ना पारे, देखिया जन्मिला दुक्का सबारा अंतर. Because Lord did not call him, so he could not come. Everyone felt distress on seeing this. श्रीवास बोले न सुना जगतेर नाता, मुकुंद की अपराध करीला तो माता. Then Srivasa asked him, you are the Supreme Lord, Master of the universe. What did Mukunda do to you, that offense? Mukunda tomara priya, mo sabara prana, keba nahi dravya suni, Mukundera gana. So Mukunda is very dear to you and he is life of all of us. Keba nahi dravya suni, Mukundera gana, whose heart will not melt when they hear the singing of Mukunda. Bhakti parayana sarvadike savadana, aparada na dekiya kara apamana. So he is very much attached to bhakti and he is always careful. Yet without seeing any fault in him, you dishonor him. Yadi aparada take tara sashti kara, apanara dasa kene dure parihara. If you see a fault, punish him, purify him. Why do you keep him far? Tumi nadi kile nare samukha haite. Deku ka tomara prabhu bala bala mate. So unless you call him, he will not come in front of you. Therefore, O Lord, please call him so that he can see you. Prabhu bole, he na vake kabu na boli bao, bitara lagi mora kabu na sadiba. Do not speak such words in front of me. Do not ever talk on that fellow's again topic. Kadalaya jati loya, purve ei sunila, ei beta sei hoya, kehana chinila. So you have heard him before saying, sometimes he takes a straw in his hands and sometimes he takes a stick. This applies to this fellow. Yet none of you have recognized him. Kshane dante trunalaya, kshane jati mare, o kadajati ya beta na deki be more. So sometimes he takes a straw in his mouth, next moment he takes a stick in his hand. So therefore this stick holder cannot see me. Mahavakta Srinivasa bole arabara, bujite tomara shakti kara adhikara. Again, Srivasa said, it's very difficult to understand what you are trying to present. Amarata mukundara doshanahi deke tomara abhaya pada padma tara sakshi. He said, we do not find any fault in Mukunda, your lotus feet are the witness of this fact. Prabhu bole, O beta yakana yata yaya, say mata kata kahi tatai mishaya. So wherever this fellow goes, he mingles with that person there and speaks like one of them. Like if he goes to a Vaishnava, he speaks like a Vaishnava. If he go to Mayavadi, he speaks like a Mayavadi. Vashishta padaye yabe advaitera sange bhakti yoge nache gaya trunakari dante. So when he studies Yoga Vashishta in Advaita's association, he keeps a straw in his teeth and sings and dances in bhakti mode. Anya sampradaye giya yakana sambaya, nahi mane bhakti jati maraya sadaya. So when he mingles with Mayavadi people, he constantly beats me with a stick by not accepting bhakti. Like for example, what is the difference? When you accept bhakti, you say Supreme Lord has a personality, has a form, has a pastimes, all these things and all. And when you go to Mayavadis, what do they say? There is no Lord, there is no form, there is no hand, there is no leg. Like you are taking one side, you are saying you are the Supreme Lord, next moment you are saying no hand, no leg, no face, nothing, no pastimes. You are Maya. So one moment you are saying you are a great personality, next moment you are taking a stick and saying beat, beat, beat. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying. Bhakti hote bada ache ye iha vakane nirantara jati mare se jane. So anyone who explains there is something superior to bhakti constantly beats with me a stick. Bhakti stane uhara hoila aparada, eteke uhara hoila darshana vada. He has committed an offense against bhakti, therefore he cannot see me. Mukunda sunaye sabha bahire takiyana, paiba darshana sunilena iha. So Mukunda was sitting outside the door and he was listening to the entire thing, that how he has been banned by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Guru uparode purve na manilun bhakti, sabha jane Mahaprabhu Chaitanya Sakti. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew that he did not respect bhakti due to the advice of some guru. So this is the potential of Sri Chaitanya. Mane chinte mukunda parama bhagavata e deha rakite mora na hoya yukata. So Maha Bhagavata, being a Maha Bhagavata, he was thinking, what is the point of keeping this body when I cannot get association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Aparada sharira chadiba aji ami dekiba kateka kale ihana hi jani. So he thought, let me finish off this offensive body, for I do not know when will I will be able to see him again. Mukunda bolena suna takura Srivasa kabuki dekime muni bala prabhu pasha. So he said, Srivasa Thakur, please ask one thing of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when will I get an opportunity to see him again? Kandaye mukunda hai ajihora nayane mukundera dukka kande bhagavata gane. He was continuously crying and the tears were coming and everybody was astonished the way how he is crying. Prabhu bole ara yadi koti janma hoya tabe mora darshana paiba nishchaya. After 1 crore births, you will get an opportunity to have my darshana. Sushaya prapti prabhura Sri Mukhe Mukunda Sinchita Hoila Parananda Sukhe. When he heard that after 1 crore births he will get an opportunity to have darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he became extremely happy. Paiba boli kare mahan rutya premete vishwala hoila chaitanyara brutya. Then he said, I got it, and he started dancing in ecstasy. And he became very ecstatic. Mahanande mukunda nachaye sekane dekilena sena vakya suniya ashravane. So he will see me one day. That word was so mesmerizing to Mukunda that he began to dance in great happiness. Mukunda dekiya Prabhu hase vishwambara ajna hoila mukundera anaha satvara. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, he became very happy with that. After 1 crore births also, he is happy that he will get an association. So that devotee's mood you see. The Lord is sending them, but the devotee is also saying, after some time, no problem. But I have an opportunity to come back and be in the association of the Lord. That inspired Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, asked him to come back, come inside, your offense is cleaned. Sakala Vaishnava Dake, Asiya Mukunda, Najane Mukunda Kichu, Paya Ananda. Everybody were saying, Mukunda, come inside, come inside. So everybody were very happy. Prabhu bole, Mukunda Guchila Aparada, Aisha Amare Deke, Daraha Prasada. You are freed from offense. Please come and take my mercy. Prabhur Ajnaye Sabe Anila Dariya Apadila Mukunda Mahapurusha Dekiya. So by the order of the Lord, all devotees brought Mukunda and who fell on the ground after seeing the Lord. Prabhu bole Uta Mukunda Amara Tilardakeka Aparada Nahika Tumara. Not even a pinch of aparada is there in you, the mood in which how you have reacted. Sangadosha Tomara Sakala Hoilakshaya Tomara Stane Amara Hoila Parajaya. He said, by your association you have lost your opportunity, but by your I have been defeated by you, by your bhakti, by your capacity. Lord is saying, I have become defeated by you. So see in that mode how devotee responds. Like Jai Vijay also, they have been deputed in the material world, but by their performance they will satisfy the Lord. By their pastimes they will satisfy the Lord. That is the entire perspective for us to understand. See what happens now, we have to get into the details. Sometimes we have to know through Acharya's perspective. There is one short pastime in Vrindavan. This is a Bhagavata commentary by one Vaishnava Acharya who explained about this Ganesh Chaturthi and Lord Krishna that connected. This was when Krishna was a small boy, when he was in Vrindavan. So Mother Yashoda was fond of worshipping Ganesha. So that day she made Ganesha deity and she decorated him nicely. She prepared various bhogas to be offered to Ganesha. When the first item to be brought was the laddus were brought, and Ganesha was sitting there in the altar and laddus were kept in front of him. And as soon as Krishna saw laddus, he said, I want that laddu. Then Mother Yashoda said, no. First it has to be offered to Ganesha, then you will get prasad. First Ganesha has to eat. So there she went inside to bring many other items. In the meantime, will Krishna be idle? Will he be silent? He went, finished all the laddus and came back and sat as if nothing had happened. Mother Yashoda came back when she saw that the entire plate is empty. She was astonished, what happened to all the laddus? He said, Ganesha came and ate. Then Mother Yashoda did not believe Krishna. What is so special that Ganesha became so satisfied that he came and ate? Then she wanted to check, open your mouth, let me see what happened. Then Krishna opened his mouth and inside Mother Yashoda saw unlimited Ganeshas roaming around in his mouth. Various universes, each universe has one Ganesha. And unlimited universes, unlimited Ganeshas were in his mouth. One Ganesha came forward and he started addressing Mother Yashoda. Oh my dear mother, whatever Krishna says is truth. Do not doubt him. And Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because when Krishna eats, I have eaten as Mahaprasada. So when Krishna is saying Ganesha ate means I ate. That's correct? No. When you feed the root, entire tree, branches, everything will get that food. As Krishna is the source, by feeding the source, we all got the prasadam, Mahaprasadam of Krishna. In that way, he started preaching Mother Yashoda about bhakti. And Mother Yashoda became confused. Whether she is seeing her son, whether she is thinking he is a Supreme Lord, Ganesha was preaching to her about bhakti. At the end of the pastime, she came back to her senses and she hugged Krishna, took him inside and fed all the items. So see what happens, for us to perceive it's a small thing. But Krishna, even through small thing, he is emphasizing the philosophy that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You need not separately worship the demigods. Automatically by worshipping him, the demigod worship is automatically taken care. So some pastimes of the Lord are very rare for us, for relishing, but for understanding philosophy also. Not just a funny pastime perspective. They are all with fully loaded with information. Like with setting a standard of his position, how devotees respond to Krishna's pastimes, like that. So we'll stop here. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Now there is a document to be read, Prabhupada Sannyasa Smriti. Another 10 minutes. So interaction with Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura during Srila Prabhupada's Grihastha days. This is excerpts from Moola Prakriti Devidasi, a friend to all. Srila Nayananand Das Babaji Maharaj recollects, the last year that our Gurudeva, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, organized and performed Gauramandal Parikrama, thousands and thousands of pilgrims assembled at our Champahati Mandira. There was a whole village of tents in all directions. On the afternoon of the last day, one of our god brothers had just arrived in Navadvipa, having returned from London by boat. He had gone to preach but had returned without meeting with full success. In the evening, while Guru Maharaj was giving pravachana, he explained that it was his earnest desire that the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should be spread in the western countries. He told how it was the vision of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura that this would happen, and it was also the last request of his mother Srimad Bhagavati Devi to him before she left this world. Consequently, he had been willing to take the lifeblood of Gaudiya Math in funds to send devotees there to preach. But as far as these attempts had been largely unsuccessful. At this moment in his talk, I noticed that something very mysterious was happening. Guru Maharaj was looking out at the large crowd of the devotees, especially in front where all the sannyasis and brahmacharis in red cloth were there. Then he turned his head and looked over to his left side where I was standing. He was looking intently at someone and became silent for a long moment. I happened to look behind me and I clearly saw that the person with whom he was making eye contact was Abhay Charanarvinda Prabhu. I thought that they were looking at each other in a special way. Then Guru Maharaj again addressed the audience in front of him and said, "But I have a prediction. However long in the future it may be, I predict that one of my disciples will cross the ocean and that devotee will bring back the whole world." I remembered this incident and Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj truly made it come to pass exactly in this way. Then, Prabhupada as a humble Grihastha Vaishnava, Srila Nayananand Das Babaji Maharaj recollects, Abhay Prabhu behaved very humbly to everyone. Even though he was senior in many ways to most of the people who came later during those 11 years, he would always pay dandavats to others just because they had taken initiation first. Though he had made that devoted connection with our Guru Maharaj first, he didn't formally take initiation until later on because of his family and his business. I clearly recall how very serious, simple and humble he was. Sometimes when I was in Calcutta, I would go to visit him at Sitakant Banerjee Lane, where he had his home and chemical business. Sat Prasangananda Brahmachari, who is 93 years old now, and Satish Prabhu, who is 73, used to accompany me when I was visited his house on Sitakant Banerjee Lane. He was very affectionate to us. He always welcomed guests into his home. He opened his house to any Vaishnava from the Gaudiya Math, whether they were his god brothers or young brahmacharis who weren't god brothers and hadn't even been initiated. Then one more from Prabhupada quits home to be a Vanaprastha from Transcendental Diary. Hari Shauri writes, "You know my story, tea or me?" Prabhupada asked me. "No, Srila Prabhupada," I said, intrigued and eager to hear. He gave a chuckle. "My wife, she was fond of drinking tea. So one day I told her, either you give up your tea drinking or you should give up your husband." "Oh, then I'll give up my husband." Of course, she thought I was joking. He went on, "But a few days later, I left the house without telling anyone. I borrowed 10 rupees from a friend and brought a train ticket and I never refund. Where did you go? Somewhere, anywhere. He laughed. He never saw his wife again. Then Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur urged Srila Prabhupada to take sannyasa. This is from Leelamrita Volume 1. One night Abhay had a striking dream, the same dream he had several times before. During his days as a householder, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati appeared just as Abhay had known him, the tall, scholarly sannyasi coming directly from the spiritual world, from Krishna's personal entourage. He called to Abhay and indicated that he should follow. Repeatedly he called and motioned. He was asking Abhay to take sannyasa. Come, he urged, become a sannyasi. Abhay woke in a state of wonder. He thought of this instruction as another feature of his original instruction. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati has given him at their first meeting in Calcutta. The same instruction that his spiritual master had later solidified in a letter. Become an English preacher and spread Krishna consciousness throughout the Western world. Sannyasa was for that end. Otherwise, why would his spiritual master have asked him to accept it? Abhay reasoned that his spiritual master was saying, now take sannyasa and you will actually be able to accomplish this mission. Formally, the time was not right. Abhay deliberated cautiously. By accepting sannyasa, a Vaishnava dedicates his body, mind and words totally to the service of the Supreme Lord, renouncing all other engagements. He was doing that already. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati had offered sannyasa to his leading disciples so that they could continue his mission. They hadn't done it. Preaching in the West had proven perilous even for the Gaudiya Math, most recognized sannyasis. How could he, a mere householder, presume he could succeed whereas the others had failed? He was hesitant. The helpless, incapable feeling he had expressed in his Virahastaka was there. But now his spiritual master was beckoning him all over other considerations, even over natural humility. Now, although he was elderly and alone, the desire to preach just as his spiritual master had preached remained within him, a fierce, though sometimes quietly expressed determination. The Vedic standard and the example set by the previous acharyas was that if one wanted to lead a preaching movement, sannyasa was required. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta had taken sannyasa to facilitate his missionary work. Lord Chaitanya had taken sannyasa to further the Sankirtana movement. Of course, Lord Chaitanya was a Supreme Lord, and when his young students had been disrespectful towards him, treating him as an ordinary man, he had taken sannyasa. Because a sannyasi is automatically respected. Lord Chaitanya's acceptance of sannyasa was a calculated tactic. As soon as he began traveling throughout India as a sannyasi, he immediately attracted thousands of followers to the Sankirtana movement. Abhay turned to Keshav Maharaj in Mathura and Keshav Maharaj told Abhay to take sannyasa immediately. After corresponding with Tirtha Maharaj, Abhay had felt some uncertainty about accepting sannyasa. And now that he has been encouraged to so strongly, he resisted. But Keshav Maharaj was insistent. Prabhupada, I was sitting alone in Vrindavana writing. My godbrother insisted to me, Bhaktivedanta Prabhu, you must do it. Without accepting the renounced order of life, nobody can become a preacher. So he insisted. No, not he insisted. Practically my spiritual master insisted. He wanted me to become a preacher. So he forced me through this godbrother. You accept it. So I unwillingly accepted. On October 1st, 1968, on the occasion of the disappearance day of Srila Prabhupada's Sannyasa Guru Bhakti Prajnana Keshav Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada recalls in his ISKCON Seattle. Prabhupada, one has to accept the renounced order from another person who is in renounced order. So I never thought that I should accept this renounced order of life. In my family life, when I was in the midst of my wife and children, sometimes I was dreaming my spiritual master that he is calling me, I was following him. When my dream was over, I was thinking, I was little horrified. Oh, Guru Maharaj wants me to become sannyasi. How can I accept sannyasa? At that time, I was feeling not very satisfaction that I have to give up my family and I have to become a mendicant. At that time, it was a horrible feeling. Sometimes I was thinking, no, I cannot take sannyasa. But again, I saw the same dream. In this way, I was fortunate. My Guru Maharaj pulled me out of this material life. I have not lost anything. He was so kind upon me. I have gained. I have left 3 children. I have now got 300 children. So I am not loser. This is material conception. We think that we shall be loser by accepting Krishna. Nobody is loser. I say from my practical experience. I was thinking, how can I accept this renounced order of life? I cannot accept so much trouble. But I retired from family life. I was sitting alone in Vrindavana writing books. So this my godbrother, he insisted me, Bhaktivedanta Prabhu. This title was given in my family life. It was offered to me by the Vaishnava society. So he insisted me. Not he insisted me, practically my spiritual master insisted me through him. You accept, because without accepting the renounced order, nobody can become a preacher. So he wanted me to become a preacher. So he forced me through this godbrother. You accept. So unwillingly I accepted, and then I remembered that he wanted me to go to the Western country. So I am feeling now very much obliged to this godbrother that he carried out the wish of my spiritual master and enforced me to accept this sannyasa order. So Prabhupada accepts sannyasa. Keshavji Gaudiya Mat was located in the midst of one of Mathura's downtown bazaars. Its main entrance, an arched doorway, led into the courtyard open to the sky through a metal grating above. Abhay Babu entered the Mata dressed in white, but he would soon be leaving the dressed in saffron, his Swamy. Abhay had been living as a renunciant for 9 years. There was no need for him to observe a ceremony or to proclaim himself a sadhu by changing to saffron dress. But it was a parampara system that a man take Tridanda sannyasi at the end of his life. He was aware of the cheating sannyasis. Even in Vrindavana, he had seen so-called sadhus who did not preach but simply spent their days hunting for chapatis. Some Swamis of Vrindavana even indulged illicitly in what they had supposedly come here to reject, sex life. Such persons were making a mockery of sannyasa, and there was the caste Goswamis also who lived like ordinary householders, running temples as a business to support their families and accepting honor and donations from the public on the false basis of birth. Abhay knew of these abuses of sannyasa, but he also knew the real purpose of sannyasa. Sannyasa was for preaching. On the morning of September 17, 1959, in the 50 by 25 feet room on the second floor of the Keshavji Mat, a group of devotees sat before the deities of Radha and Krishna and Lord Chaitanya. The deities were colorfully dressed in royal clothing and silver crowns. Abhay sat on a mat of kusha grass besides 90-year-old Sanatana, also to receive sannyasa that day. Sitting opposite the two candidates, Narayan Maharaj, Keshav Maharaj's disciple, prepared to conduct the ceremony of mantras and offerings of grains and ghee into the fire. Akinchan Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, Abhay's godbrother, known for sweet singing, played mridanga and sang Vaishnava bhajans. Sitting on a raised asana, His Holiness Keshav Maharaj presided. Narayan Maharaj chanted the required mantras and then sat back silently while Keshav Maharaj lectured. Then, to everyone's surprise, Keshav Maharaj asked Abhay to speak. Abhay had not expected this. As he looked around at the gathering of devotees, he understood that the common language was Hindi. Only Keshav Maharaj and a few others spoke English, yet he knew he must speak in English. After Abhay's speech, each initiate received his sannyasa danda, the traditional head-high staff made of 4 bamboo rods, bound together and completely enwrapped in saffron cloth. They were given their sannyasa garments, 1 piece of saffron cloth for a dhoti, 1 for a top piece, and 2 strips of underwear. They also received tulsi neck beads and sannyasa mantra. Keshav Maharaj said that Abhay would now be known as Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj and Sanatana would be Muni Maharaj. After the ceremony, the 2 new sannyasis posed for a photo standing on either side of their sannyasi guru, who sat in a chair. Keshav Maharaj didn't impose any strictures on Abhay. He simply encouraged him to go on preaching. Yet Abhay knew that to become A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami did not mean merely that he was giving up family, home, comforts and business that he had done 5 years ago. Changing from white cloth to saffron cloth, from Abhay Babu to Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj had a special significance. It was the mandate that he had required, the irrevocable commitment. Now it was only a matter of time before Bhaktivedanta Swami would travel to the west as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati had ordained. This was Bhaktivedanta Swami's realization of his new sannyasa status. The Gaudiya Patrika's account of the sannyasa initiation included a biographical sketch of Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj listing the major events in his life. The article concluded, seeing his enthusiasm and ability to write articles in Hindi, English and Bengali, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj gave him the instruction to take Tridandi sannyasa. For nearly 1 year he had been ready to accept sannyasa. In the month of Bhadra, on the day of which Vishwarupa accepted sannyasa, Bhaktivedanta Swami at the Sri Keshavji Gaudiya Mat accepted sannyasa from the founder of Vedanta Samiti, Bhakti Pragjana Keshav Maharaj. Seeing him accept his ashrama of renunciation, seeing this pastime for accepting the renounced order of life, we have attained great affection and enthusiasm. One of the disciples of Prabhupada's, Rupa Vilas Dasa, recalls, we were spending a little time with Prabhupada's godbrother Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, with whom he had a very affectionate relationship. He was telling the story of Prabhupada's taking sannyasa and he said, the ceremony was going on with Keshav Maharaj overseeing and conducting the initiation. Naraj Maharaj was chanting the mantras and I was doing bhajana. But as is my habit, I got a little too loud, so Keshav Maharaj was making a gesture with his palm down as if to say, not so loud. Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj said, as soon as he would turn his head, your Prabhupada would do like this, putting his arm up, chant louder. Then Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj laughed as he did and he said, it was then I knew that he would be the leader of Hare Krishna movement. Then in Radha Damodar by Mahanidhi Swami. After Srila Prabhupada taking sannyasa, Narayan Maharaj recalls, I would visit Prabhupada many times while he was staying at Radha Damodar temple between 1962 to 64. One time I went there and he was sitting on the floor on a torn quilt. After sitting down on my chadar, we both discussed Srimad Bhagavatam. There was no bed in Prabhupada's room. He was sleeping on the floor. On another occasion, Narayan Maharaj recalls, often we would have kirtan in his room at Radha Damodar. Prabhupada played mridanga and I played kartals. He used to tell me how he was planning to go to America and other Western countries. He said, I want to preach as Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati has ordered me. And I want to publish B2G in huge scale and preach in Western countries. If there will be need, I will establish boarding facilities for interesting people. If they want, I will also give meat also and eggs also and wine also. I believe that after hearing Harinama Sankirtana and the Shiksha of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then certainly they will reject all these things and surely they will become pure Vaishnavas. Then this is Prabhupada, volume 4, Leelamrita. In Nairobi, Srila Prabhupada demonstrated how a sannyasi should preach. For 1 month, he strictly followed Vedic tradition by staying only 3 days or less in the home of each of the Indian hosts. Then although his hosts always provided him good food and comfortable accommodation, he would move on to the next place. This was the rule for sannyasis. Prabhupada said, it kept them from becoming attached to bodily comforts and from inconveniencing their hosts. Srila Prabhupada